most part. Okay, a couple of little details. You always, like I say, and I'll repeat myself the whole session, is I have to cover his head with my chest on everything I do in short offense. Okay, because I want to keep his head buried here. I don't want his head up. His head's up, he's in a pretty good position. He can square up and fight real good. But if I can keep his head underneath my chest, his head's going to be here. It's no different than wrestling on my feet. If my head goes down, I'm going to usually get snapped to the mat, right? Okay, same thing when I get that guy underneath, I want his head down. It's hard to defend here. Hard to defend here. It's real easy to defend here. Okay, all right, now we're going to do a little shuck bite. Everything's going to stay the same, guys. A couple of things. With the shuck, when I shuck this guy by, I have to get some movement going. This is not a technique where I can just jam him and then try to shuck him by. It doesn't work like that, or at least it doesn't on a good guy. Okay? So I got to get some movement. I'm going to start pulling him. Be real active. I'm going to jam him, pull him, and then boom. Now again, when I shuck this guy, this is a huge key. A lot of detail. If his hips are covering his ankles, I'm not going to be able to shuck him. Don't ask me why. I don't understand the term. I mean, I don't understand the reasoning. Okay, but all I know is that I've watched enough wrestling and drilled enough wrestling. I've seen it's a lot more effective if I can get his hips off his heels on this shuck bite. Okay, I hadn't had a lot of success teaching or coaching. Or trying this as a competitor with his hips here. Okay, so what I got to do is I got to create some movement. I'm going to jam him, pull him down, jam him, pull him down, jam him, pull him down, pull. Now when I shuck, guys. When I shuck, all I'm doing is basically hitting him in the side of the face with my forearm. But when I do, I'm coming downward. When I shuck this guy, I'm coming downward. It's almost like I'm scraping my fingers across the mat. Okay, last night I had a lot of kids doing this, shucking them and keeping their hand here. Look at his head position. He just runs into me, he's gonna finish. Okay? Now when I shuck him and come down and scrape my hand against the mat, okay, watch his head position. If I come here, boom, where's his head position? Now I get around, right? If I shuck him and I don't drag my fingers across the mat and I just come straight in the air, watch his head position. Okay? So when I shuck him, it's downward. Literally, I'm going to take the back of my hand, guys. I'm here, okay? And I'm going to shuck down. My fingernails are going to drag the mat, okay? But again, before I even try this, I'm going to jam him, pull him, jam him, pull him. I got to create some motion and movement, and then get him thinking about other things, and then boom, snap him real quick, okay? Boom. Jammed him, pulled him, jammed him, pulled him, boom, right there. Now. Once I shuck, this left hand, it's got to come underneath the arm, guys. Come underneath the arm. Don't go over the top. You go over the top and you come around this waist, and this arm's over the top, he's going to Peterson you. I had a kid a couple years ago, wrestled in college now, he was a couple times state champ for me. He was awful on his feet. He would take a bad shot and guys would start to run around and then grab that hip and he would Peterson them all day long. It was the damnedest thing I ever seen, but it worked for him. I don't know how, but it did. Don't come around that hip unless you're underneath this arm. Okay? Don't drape over the top of it. Alright? So again, short offense, I'm jamming, pulling. Okay, as soon as I pull him, get him extended, that's when I want to shuck by. Left hand underneath the arm, then I can come around the hip. Okay? You got those little details, guys? All right, 1, 2, 3. That's loud, gentlemen.